Pozzi, you will be the first one to give your opening comments.
Thank you, Kathy. That almost covers what a county judge does. Let me thank the League of Women Voters, certainly Victoria Television Group, the audience for being here this evening, those watching, those who will watch. We're most appreciative. Last but not least, certainly let me thank my sweet late wife, Gay, who is not with us tonight, but certainly was here with me on the last two elections. And it's at these times that she's missed, believe me, but tonight I honor her during this Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You all know about me. You can read about me in the League of Women Voters Guide. All of you have heard me speak on many, many occasions. I certainly want to thank the voters of Victoria County for the last 8 years in office. I love this county. I love this community. I certainly have tried to serve this office with honesty, integrity. I can assure you that will continue. Everybody likes to talk about taxes, so let me start out by saying something about taxes, because you're going to hear a lot about it tonight and during the remaining weeks of this campaign. There's a lot of argument about what we've done, what we haven't done. I'm going to give you some bottom lines, and you all know we can do anything with figures. I've said repeatedly, I'm going to say it again. I took office in 2003. The budget for 2003 was already prepared. I used the first year of that budget. My first budget year was 2004. From 2004 to the present time, your tax rate has remained the same at 3,986. For the last 2 years, your tax rate has been set below the effective tax rate. Your general fund budget has been decreased by $3.5 million. Those are some hard decisions, ladies and gentlemen. They've been some tough times. Some of those decisions haven't been popular. We know that. Some of them have been at the expense of a lot of things. But I can assure you, I will continue to serve this office with pride and honor. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Ocker, your opening statements.
Hello. Thank you to the League of Women Voters, the Victoria Television Group, all the folks that are here in attendance, and everyone watching at home. It's my pleasure to be here tonight. First of all, I'd like to talk about transparency. My opponent in 2007, I believe it was, got up in front of a crowd of people at the community center when we all piled in there to oppose the Trans-Texas corridor. He rose in strong opposition to that. I get a bit confused, though, when I read his first budget synopsis, which is 2004, and it states that he will seek funding for the I-69 corridor, or I-69 designation through the TEA 21 legislation and the Trans-Texas Corridor program. Furthermore, in 2007, I was alarmed by an article that appeared in Victoria Advocate where my opponent and the mayor of Victoria traveled to San Antonio and had a closed meeting with the county judge of Bexar County, the mayor of San Antonio, and representatives from San Antonio Water Systems. Our water is a very precious resource that we must continue to keep here, and I want to see those kind of meetings open. I want them to be scrutinized, and I want members of our public to be there, and I want members of our media to be there. I also want to televise the meetings. Commissioners Court is held at a time which most people cannot go to the meetings. It is difficult to find parking oftentimes downtown, which is where they're held at the courthouse. Just like we're bringing this debate to you tonight, this forum to you tonight on television. Imagine what kind of informed decision you could make if you had 4 years or 8 years to go on of watching the various office holders right in your own living room. I believe we're not just the crossroads, I believe we're also at a crossroads. It's time for Victoria County to decide whether or not it is fiscally conservative. I hear those terms tossed about a lot. The problem is I just don't see it in our county government. In 2002, the year prior to my opponent taking office, this county took in revenues of roughly $30.6 million. For 2009, which are the most recent published numbers, that figure's $45 million. That's an increase of roughly 47%. He talks about the tax rate being stable since '04.
I'm afraid your time is up. Now we have time for our questions, and Mr. Pozzi, you will begin.
Thank you.
Given that the county's infrastructure, the sheriff's office, the justice of the peace, and others are funded through tax dollars, could you give some examples as to how you would fund these departments without tax dollars?
I don't know that I can give you any examples of how these departments would be funded without tax dollars, as the same is true of just about each and every department in county government. Certainly, there are some grant opportunities out there that we look for every day to subsidize some of the things that our taxpayers in this community face. We are a governmental entity, like any other municipality or county government, state, federal, whatever it may be. Those are supported by tax dollars.
Okay. And Mr. Ocker, the same question to you. Do you need me to reread it?
No, I'm fine. Yeah, I would have to agree. The only thing that I would point out in looking over the 2011 budget, there was a decrease of, I think it was $321,000 from actual 09 numbers, which once again are the most recent published numbers for jail contracts, both at the county jail and at the juvenile facility. In order to make the budget appear to be fiscally sound, we assumed an increase of $360,000 roughly in increased fines and forfeitures from the actual published 2009 numbers. I feel that is a very bad way to raise revenue, and I think it makes a lot of assumptions that myself as a citizen doesn't like to see.
Thank you. And our next question will also go to both candidates, and Mr. Ocker, you will begin. How would you propose the Commissioners Court protect Victoria's surface and groundwater?
The legislation surrounding surface and groundwater can be extremely convoluted. It's a very complex issue. What I would do is I would go out into the community. We have several resources here in Victoria County. We have several people that have taken it upon themselves to basically make protecting our ground and surface water their life's work in recent years. I would ask for their input, and I would always bear in mind that there are certain things that we can compromise on and there are certain things that we cannot. Our water resources are an area that we cannot compromise. I don't care who we have to offend. I don't care who we have to go through. We must stand in the face of anyone who wants to take our water resources. It is vital not only to our existence, but it is vital to our expansion and growth and our economic opportunities.
Thank you. And Judge Pozzi, the same question to you.
I've certainly fought the groundwater and surface water battle for the last 8 years since I've been in office. Prior to the time we had a groundwater district, I attended hundreds of meetings concerning our surface and groundwater. Certainly now the groundwater district has taken over a lot of those duties and responsibilities. Thank goodness we have them. I continue to work with our state legislatures, continue to work with some of the other quasi-governmental entities in the area to protect our groundwater and surface water. The Commissioners Court is on record, as I am, of having said that we will fight any pipeline or anybody or anything that attempts to take our water away from this community, be it surface or groundwater, either one. So I stand on our record there.
Thank you. Next question is also to both of our candidates. And Judge Pozzi, you'll go first. Should the tax rate automatically remain flat while CAD assessments increase dramatically, or should the rate decrease? And please explain why.
Well, obviously it depends on when the values are raised, how much they are raised by, and how that affects the tax rate. And it's a different calculation every year. That's why you have the calculation for the effective tax rate. Certainly the services that are provided by county government continue throughout every year. Much as I indicated, we have set the tax rate the last 2 years below the effective tax rate. I'm not telling you that's a safe thing to do, but certainly in an effort to help the taxpayers, that's what we did. We will continue to look at that every year as we have done in the past. The last 2 years, the appraised values have not risen considerably at all, so it's remained pretty level as far as the amount of taxes that the county or any other governmental entity, quite frankly, will get from those proceeds. So, you know, the tax rate is adjusted accordingly, but obviously we've done a pretty good job for the last 8 years if it's remained at 3,986.
Right. Your time is up, but thank you.